the biggest thing for you to improve on, stepping up and being a starter?
I think everything. Playing the run, being stout as the run, because I'm not as big of a guy, so being stout as the run and just everything. Improving at a fast rate. I think I got a lot to prove. So. Welcome to episode 20 of the After Effect Podcast. I am your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me Bron, B Ron, LBZLB, whatever you prefer. We have a very, very special guest for episode 20, Diauntae Morrow, Cleveland native, played 2 seasons at the University of Iowa, finished his career at the University of Toledo, now is a coach and a business owner. The Morrow Group company does insurance, and he also coaches, I believe, high school women's basketball. But like I said, we're both Cleveland natives, and we actually went to Iowa together in 2007. So happy to have him on to discuss some current events, some things that happened during the pandemic, where he came out and kind of spoke about his Iowa experience before he transferred to Toledo. So, excuse me. Sorry about that burp. Excuse me. So yeah, just sent him the link, just waiting for him to jump on, and we will go to work. What's good with you, bro?
Oh, man, I can't call it, man. Living this good life. Living a good life.
Yeah. I appreciate you jumping on, man. I call this After Effect Podcast. I just, I feel like shit. We've been playing sports our whole life. We've been athletes our whole life. We all got some kind of after effect. And it's just, what I'm saying, giving us a voice, man, to talk about everything that's going on and our upbringing and just kind of tell our story.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. So before we dive into your childhood, man, I really and truly believe that we are more than athletes. So let's just talk about some current events, man. Who you got taking the chip home in the NBA?
Easy. Lakers.
Yeah. You already know Lake Show.
Yeah, man, I think they're going to finish them off today, and it'll be a 4-1 series against Miami.
Yeah, definitely. I'm to be honest, man, I wanted to see Brian bring a second one to Cleveland, but I'm cool with the first one.
I mean, everybody. Yeah, at least we got one, man. I would have loved to see him piece that thing together and
Right.
and bring 2 home. But we got one, and we all really know why he in LA, and it's definitely ain't because of basketball. So.
Right. It's more so on the business side, man. What do you think? What's your take on the verdict with Breonna Taylor? I was saying, I just interviewed Pierre Woods a couple hours ago, and a lot of people don't know that I'm a twin. I got a twin sister, and her name is Brianna. So just the whole thing, it kind of hit me different. What's your take on that?
My take is, sadly, it was expected.
All right, and another day to be black.
Yeah, it's just, it's just something that, we know that the system is not put together for us to receive justice or prevail. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to ask me. I literally just got finished watching the Brian Banks.
Yeah.
The Brian Banks movie, which
with Aldous Hodge,
yeah, man, it's crazy. But I mean, when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement and just us being equally accepted, man, my take is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. My take on it is that, and by all means, I'm for the movement. Mm-hmm. I'm for making sure it's equality, but we are asking the masses mm-hmm. to change something that America was built upon, mm-hmm. which was slavery, thievery, mm-hmm. Injustice, mm-hmm. Everything that we are protesting now. That's what right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what America was built off of. Right. So yes, everything is it's all messed up, but it's a process, man.
Mm-hmm.
My take on it is to just, I definitely send my prayers out to the families
Mm-hmm.
and friends of everybody that have had to
Go through something like that.
and go through something like that, whether it go all the way from Emmett Till to Rodney King
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
George Floyd to
Mm-hmm.
even to Breonna Taylor. It's all crazy, man. But it's something that's gonna take time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Whether we like it or not, which is
right, right.
that's not something that we're necessarily privy to because we
Mm-hmm.
feel like we don't have time.
Right, right. And yeah, it's funny you say that. And that's the main thing. I mean, obviously this year just been different in general. We've been in the pandemic for like 7 months now, but I think that's what people really need to realize, that like it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take time
No,
to change all these systems and just all the systematic racism. Like you say, I mean, this is what the world has been built on. You know what I mean? So
I mean, if not the world, definitely United States.
yeah, exactly. So
And that goes back to Christopher Columbus and Native Americans and
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
all of that, man. It's
mm-hmm.
just what I mean to slavery, to us building
Mm-hmm.
the plantation, us growing crops, us picking
Right,
cotton.
right, all that
It's
stuff.
all been based off just
Right,
inequality.
right. Um, what is? I'm sure you saw that Deion Sanders went to the HBCU Jackson State. What's your take on that, man? Because as I get older, I, I always say I'm starting to kind of lean towards, man, if I could do it over again, I would definitely consider HBCUs more if I could do it over again. And I only say that because in my experience, just meeting a lot of different guys and playing with a lot of different guys in when I was playing arena ball, playing with a lot of different guys that went to HBCUs, it just seems like they're more close knit. Like the alumni, they have more mentors. They have alumni who literally want to see them succeed, who literally give them resources and tell them about different jobs and literally want to see them succeed. And when you graduate from a place like a Big Ten university like I did, or a MAC university like you did, that's more so predominantly white. I feel like the black alumni, it's not the same. It's not the same. Nobody's checking on you. Nobody, right? Like I haven't got a text from Chris Doyle or Ferens or any of them coaches since my last game, 9 years ago. You know what I mean? So like, what's your take on Deion going to Jackson State?
I think it's great, man. I think overall, it's great to have a former. He's my favorite player of all time. So
Right.
that's just me being biased, but I think it's always better to have people in the sports realm that have been heavily involved in sports, just in
Right.
general. And when I say heavily involved, I mean people that have been through the grind, been through the struggle,
Mm-hmm.
understand what it takes to be an actual student athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you and millions of us, we witness it
Mm-hmm.
firsthand. I was blessed enough to be able to be a Division I athlete for two colleges,
Mm-hmm.
the University of Iowa, where me and you were teammates, and I played at the University of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
So I also coached at Davidson College for 3 years, which is the D1 AA school. So,
Uh-huh.
I have a little bit more insight than the average, but I've as a player, I knew I was being coached on multiple occasions by guys that have never played a game.
Right. Right.
Because and I could tell that, okay, they just reading from a textbook or something that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else told them.
Exactly.
And then, as a player, you can tell like, hey, this guy did this.
Right.
He know exactly what he's talking about. And those are the coaches that you relate to when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to a coaching standpoint. From just a flat out coaching standpoint, I've always, and this is no disrespect to the guys who did not play, but there's always been more respect for a coach who's actually been through this
Exactly.
day in, day out,
Right.
homework,
And really
study
know about it.
table, and really can speak on it versus a
Mm-hmm.
guy who didn't go through it.
Exactly.
But and then on the other hand, it's great. I mean, it's great for HBCUs. Hopefully, and that's honestly in my mind what would help bring the HBCU where we want it to be.
I think it's a big stepping stone.
It's a great stepping stone. Now we need other former players to take these jobs, to be in a position to take them. Dion is in a position to take. He's been coaching for a while, but what people don't understand is, man, and being a successful collegiate coach, that's another one of those things that it's not built for African Americans to be successful.
Exactly.
The coaching without pay that you have to go through for years,
just to climb that ladder. In most cases you have to be unpaid for 6 months to a year before you can even get on a staff. And seeing that most of us, when I say us, I mean minorities, are coming from single parent house homes or coming from the inner city. We don't have that luxury to take 6 months out of our lives to volunteer 80 plus hours a week to make nothing. Exactly.
So that's another one. We don't have the time. We don't have the money. We don't have the luxury. It's been multiple occasions where I've even had GAs. As a young guy, I was probably one of the youngest coaches in Division I football at one point in time. I was 23 or 24. I was an assistant. I had my own film room. I was a running backs coach. I was a special teams coordinator.
Yeah, Davidson.
Davidson College. We weren't very good, but I was coaching. My special teams were top in my special teams, the units I ran, we were top in D1 AA.
Okay.
Top 5, top 10. You know what I mean? I had the opportunity to coach a freshman of the year, and Jeff Keel was one of my favorite players. One of them that I was able to coach. I still talk to him now, but yeah, man, that's great. It's great for HBCU, man. That's one piece of it.
Right.
The other piece of it is making sure that we're getting the resources, man. I can't look back and say that I wish I went to HBCU because the platforms were different.
Of course. ABC games, ESPN games, and just
it from a marketing standpoint, it did not make sense.
Right.
And to be honest with you, they didn't even talk to us because we were quote unquote bigger than HBCU.
Right.
So if you have a coach telling you like, oh yeah, man, we know you're going Big Ten, not even going to talk to you. Why am I going to talk to you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Being a 16, 17-year-old young man, it's like, okay, if you don't have interest in me, I'm definitely not going to have interest in you.
Right.
Which is another piece of it. But, it's great for it, man. I'm anything Dion do, man. I'm a prime fan. So
you know that, yeah, same here. Like you say, man, I think it's definitely a stepping stone, and I mean, you already know everybody love his swagger and just what he brought to the game, and everyone's saying he's a good coach. So I'm sure he's going to land some bigger recruits, and I'm sure they'll get some better contracts for TV games and just all those kind of things. And so I'm definitely happy for HBCUs, and I'm like you said, I think it's going in the right direction for sure.
Oh yeah, the more former NFL players that can become head coaches in the HBCU realm, the more money that'll be in it, the more sponsorships will be in it, because they want to see, especially a guy like Prime. I can imagine Deion Sanders walking into my house saying, "Hey, I'm gonna give you an offer to be one of the future starters in my secondary." What?
Right.
Man,
hands down. Are you getting the commitment?
Hands down,
easily.
You're getting it from me.
Right.
You're getting it from me.
Right. So man, let's dive into your childhood a little bit, bro. We both, Cleveland natives, born and bred. Talk about the culture from your eye view growing up in the 90s. Who was your influences? you know, in the 90s, obviously it's a lot different. We didn't have like social media and just, you know,
yeah.
we really would like play outside all day. So, and now getting older, it's 2020 now. So I know it's literally a different world that the kids grow up in now. They got social media, they got phones, they got cameras, they got internet, and just all these things. And
Everything.
we didn't grow up like that. So talk about the Cleveland culture in the 90s, man. You know, what you
Man,
see, what you
I
saw, what
mean,
you went through.
man, it was, you know, where I grew up on St. Clair, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always from house to house. So I grew up in the Glenville. My mom stayed in the Glenville area. My great aunt and my great uncle, you know, they stayed in the Collinwood area. So I was always back and forth. But man, I was born in an area where, you know, it's in a rap song, man. You slang a crack rock, or you got a wicked jump shot.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, that's just what it was. You know, it just so happened that I was blessed and fortunate enough to be talented, man, to be gifted, because that's all we did. And I always played with the older guys, man. I had a whole bunch of big homies who, you know, once I actually started playing, I didn't actually play organized football until I was 10.
Okay. Who'd you play? You played for the A's, right? Glenville A's?
I started off. So it's crazy. So I'm gonna drop some names for you. And if you're from Cleveland, Ohio, you would know. So Jamel Hines.
Of course.
Geno Sternevent. Anthony Gordon. We all played for the East 88th Street Browns.
Oh, y'all all played. Okay. What year? What year was that? Like 99?
Man, come on, man. I don't know, man.
You said you was 10.
Well, yeah, it had to be. Well, no, I played midget one year, so I played Cleveland Muni League midget. What was it, 9? I think 9 or 10, one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that we all played on the same team, man. We weren't that good. We were a 500 team, and then so I played there for 2 years, and then I ended up playing for the Glenville. It was the Glenville A's. Transferred to the Glenville Titans with Rob J. RP Rob J. My homie for life. And then I ended up being on the team with Arvell Nelson, Geno Sternman, Anthony Gordon.
Y'all had a
who
squad
else was on that team? Kyle Jefferson.
Yeah, I just had him on. I just had Kyle on.
You know, and then, you know, we had some guys underneath. I mean, so we had a crazy. My football sport, from a sports standpoint, man. You know, we all grew up in the same area for the most part. So we either played against each other or we played on the same team. But when I was fortunate enough to be up, man, on some
crazy
dope
teams,
on some talented, and on some very, very competitive little league teams, man.
I already know.
And our mindset was and it's crazy because, you know, I watch some of the sports now, man, and I'm a head coach myself for a high school basketball team in Cleveland Campus International, and it's crazy how the dynamic changed, man, because I know, like, hey, I'm pretty sure you've been playing for Mike St. Clair, right?
Yeah, I played for Mike St. Clair. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, and one of my best friends is Bruce Davis. Bruce Davis played for, you know, our teammate. He played for Cleveland Warriors.
He played for the Warriors,
And we would play, and when we played, like, I didn't talk to him the whole week. We went to school together. Like, we went to school together. If we played back then, like, you were my enemy.
Right.
Until the game was over. And if we lost, I wasn't talking to you until the next week.
Right.
So it's funny how it's not as competitive.
Right.
Now,
it's like
not as intense.
Right.
Like, it was intense, man.
Yeah.
Like, we would go to school. Think about this. We would go to school together Monday. Like, we probably sat by each other. But if it was game week, like, I wasn't talking to you that whole week.
Right.
Now, this is my homie. Like, hey, we throwing rocks at each other, popping rubber bands,
right,
throwing, you know, slide notes.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know you, bro. So that's how competitive and intense it was. I mean, from a competitive standpoint, man, Hey, we always been super competitive. Like I don't lose to this day. I'm not letting my son win.
Right.
Like you got to earn these stripes.
Man, I'm
You know
telling
what I
you.
mean?
And I
So
know,
that's
and
kind of how I grew up. Yeah.
yeah, and you a current coach, man. So, that's the thing, man. Like it's so different now because that's the same way I was. Like I didn't care who you was. Like I'm competing against you. Like I remember winning most competitive in middle school and at the Ville in high school because I literally it don't matter. Like I always was ready to compete. And it's funny that you said all them names because all those guys end up being like area stars, like you know what I'm saying, Cleveland high school stars. So, but for me, playing for my St. Clair, I play with a lot of super talented guys too. But a lot of people don't know none of them because they was all like bad as hell. Like they was cold at football, but like in the streets too. So like,
That's and like I said, that's the era we grew up in. You either slanging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. It just so happened our jump shot was on a football field.
right.
We could catch or we could tackle. But we were all talented, man. And in our mind in that time, that was the only way we would get out of the hood.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or the inner city
talk.
was, I got to make it out.
Real
And
talk.
for me personally, like my big homies and the older guys that I hung up around, they knew I was nice because I would be playing basketball and we'd be playing sideline pop. You know what I mean? If you're in the inner city, you know sideline pop is where you play from pole to pole on the street, and you had the tag in the street. But if you were on somebody's sidewalk or in their line, you could get tackled. And if you can jump over if you jumped over the bushes, and I couldn't really jump over the bushes till I was like 10, till I was like 12, 11 when I got a little older because these guys were all like 16, 17.
Older,
You know what I mean? You couldn't get tackled. You had to get tagged. So I was playing with all these dudes, but hey, we was getting it in. They like, hey man, who is this young dude?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So all of my big homies from my neighborhood, man, they would never let me indulge in any of that. You know what I'm saying? Which kudos to them. They saw something in me super early that I obviously didn't see. You know what I mean? At that age, and they like, hey man, no, you got something special. You know, I try to hang out on the corner with them at the store. They know, hey man, go home. You got homework to do, bro. You gonna do something different.
That respect was there.
You know, so the respect was there, and it's still there, man. So respect to them, man. Shout out to them for seeing that in me before I did. But you know, I had my mom, I had my pops. They pushed me, but you know, the biggest influences for me were my great aunt and my great uncle, man. You know, I kind of stayed with them just because it was a fun thing to do. You know, they were like my grandma and grandpa, so I didn't. You know, you don't want to go home if you're at grandma's house. And it just so happened that I end up going to school right down the street from them, so I just stayed with them during the week. And you know, I have some old values, some old people value, old school values, man, that stick with me that I use to this day. You know, that have helped me become the man and the father I am. So
definitely, man. I can say, obviously, I think I looked up to my dad probably the most. I really used to look up to my uncle, my real uncle, my mom's brother, just because he had money. I being from Cleveland, man, you don't know, like, especially when you were young and 7, 8, 9 years old. He always had the new cars, always had a bunch of money. But I later found out he was like robbing banks and robbing Brinks trucks. He ended up going to jail. He ended up going to jail for 12 years in like 97. Like 97, he got out 2009 when we was at Iowa together. So like you say, man, it's growing up in that area, man. The people that you admire, like if you ain't around the right people, like you gonna admire like the street dudes or the dudes that, you know what I'm saying, that they got money or got cars and all that. So it's I also really admired Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard actually went to my elementary. I went to Gracebound. It's off Lee Road. And then I went to Whitney Young for middle school, and he went to Gracebound and Whitney Young. He actually came back and talked to us when I was like in the 3rd grade. I think I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And to like you say, man, to see somebody do it, like actually make it. At that point, he had just won the Super Bowl after with the Packers and all that, and he won the Heisman, Michigan.
Yeah.
So to see somebody come back and to literally go to my same elementary and my same middle school, like I was like thinking in my head, like, man, I'm a play in the Big Ten one day, like, and that's when I was 8 years old, like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. And for me, man, on the sports side, if I would have went to a public school, I would have went to Glenville. So we all would have been on the same team, which would have been crazy.
Right.
For me, man, it was two guys. Well, really one guy, because he was the guy, Jawad Williams. Me and Jawad Williams went to the same elementary school.
Okay.
We literally St. Joseph Collinwood. He was the guy when I was coming out of 8th grade. You know, it was either I was going to Glenville
or
I was
St.
going
Ed's.
or I was going to St. Ed's. And
so he talked you into going to St. Ed's.
Jawad Williams was the guy that I didn't even really talk to him like that, because by then Jawad was like super big time, man. I was super young.
He was playing for the Cavs at the time?
No, man. Jawad was All-American.
Yeah, he was
at St. Ed's. There was, the Glenville with him and Show. When they played against that squad with Pierre and all that, man, Jawad would go crazy. And I'm like, man.
Yeah, Pierre was talking about that. I just interviewed Pierre. He was talking about that game.
Yep. I'm like, man, this dude going crazy on his own. And that was my thing, man. That was one of the things I actually take, you know what I mean? That was something I take pride in. Like, Edge, it didn't have as much talent as Glenville.
Right.
But, man, it was like, as I'm watching them, because the games used to be on a local Cleveland channel, I'm like, man, this dude doing it. He done been doing it by himself. He going crazy. I respect that. I respect it, man, because I know him. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, I went to school with this dude. I lived down the street from this dude. Like, you know what I mean? I know his family. So I he never knew it. But, I looked up to him. I'm like, man, he doing this on his own. It ain't a whole bunch of talent. It's his team. He probably busting his ass, working hard. And when it came time, it was, he was playing at North Carolina, going crazy, getting busy. And he's still playing now, man.
He's still playing in China.
Played with Cavs, professional, all of that. It was him and then Steve Logan. And then, because Steve grew up right around the corner from my grandmother. Steve went to St. Ed. So those were the two guys from a St. Ed standpoint. And then, man, I of course, watching Ted do his thing.
Of course, yeah, you know that.
Ted again do his thing, man. Just, those were the guys, man, that I'm just like, I can do it. I know I can. Like, I had already knew, man, you know me, I'm a super strong-headed dude, man, so I'm super competitive. I'm going to be the first guy in the gym, last guy out. But that's, you always need something to be like, okay. You always need something visual. And those were the visual guys. But, yeah, man, Jawad Williams, man.
Yeah, Jawad was, he was a dog.
He was the reason I went to Ed's. And then when I got to Ed's, it was just like, I'm going to do what he did.
Man,
But on the football side.
Right.
It was.
It's crazy, man. He came up my senior year at DeVille. He came up there. That was 2007. Shit, he may have been playing for the Cavs at the time. I can't remember who he was playing for.
Yeah, it was around that time.
But he came up to the gym and shit and ran open gym with us. Like, I remember I was on his team. We literally went like 10-0 that day, and his game just it seems so effortless, like dunking and passing.
Laid back, smooth.
And what's crazy is I remember, like, I went crazy that day only like because he was getting so much attention, but still obviously scoring easy. But just how the way he was setting me up, he understood that I understood the game. So, man, we was killing, like, and that was kind of like you say, like, I'm playing with him, but I kind of idolized him too. Like, damn, this nigga, this nigga in the league, like, and I'm 17. And he giving me compliments and all that, like, damn, you nice, or you like, I could tell you a football player, but you can hoop though. Like just that shit was like a moment I'd never forget, bro.
Man, I mean that was one of the first guys that I actually could say, hey, I actually know him. We
Yeah,
grew up in the same neighborhood. He
yeah,
was that guy that I was like, man, this dude going crazy.
yeah,
So yeah, he was that dude, man. He was that dude. You know those
yeah,
really
yeah.
Jawad and you know and Tato, but yeah,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
was a dude, man.
For sure, man. So yeah, man. I'm glad you talked about St. Edwards. Talk about your transition into St. Edwards. You know, I feel like a lot of guys, when guys be from like the Glenville area or you know, any part in the city, and they choose to go to St. Ed's or Benedictine or one of those, it's always, I wouldn't say always, but sometimes you catch a little flack. People want you to go to Glenville
Oh
instead of
yeah,
St. Edward.
oh
So,
yeah,
but obviously, I mean, you getting a better education and just all those things, and you know, you have more knowledge coming out of high school than other people who go in those inner city schools, and you know, they're just, the quality of education is not the same. I'm just gonna be honest, it's not the same.
yeah. That's a
You know what I'm
fact.
saying?
Yeah,
So
the resources and the focus, the resources and the focuses are different.
mhm.
Um, Man, the best way I can explain it, man. Have you seen? It's a movie. Comments in it. The Hate You Give.
Yeah,
That's me.
okay,
I relate to that movie so much. It's crazy
yeah,
because the biggest thing that I got is a culture shock. You
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
people don't understand, man. As a 14-year-old, I'm completely out of my element. I don't
Right,
have a friend.
right,
I don't know anybody and I don't know anybody from what I'm used to. They're not
mm-hmm,
the same color as me. They
mm-hmm.
don't talk like I do. I mean, it was foreigners there.
Right,
You know, it was just I was outnumbered, man. And you really feel like you're on your own,
right,
and
right,
you feel like you're on your own because you are on your own.
right.
You know what I mean? It was just a culture shock, man.
At 14,
It is at 14,
that's
and
crazy. That's
and
crazy.
and I know that I can't be the neighborhood Tay
Right, right, right.
in front of these people.
Yeah, you know that.
You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's it's no knock. It's just that I know they don't understand. Even like they be like, man, why are you talking like this? You know, they're talking more proper, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I have I got my hood slang, and some of my verbiage
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
is uncommon,
Right,
and even you know they're like, hey, whoa, like what, you know, and I'm just like, this how I talk,
right,
this
right,
how we
right,
talk,
right.
and they're like, who is we? I never
Right.
heard of that before. You know what I mean? It was just a culture shock, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
you know, mentally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it also not in a negative, but but in a positive. It brightened my eyes, man. It opened my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a world when me going to St. Ed's let me understand that there is a world outside of sports where there's
Right.
actually more that where you can be a millionaire and not play a sport,
Yeah, right,
which
right,
to
right. Open
me,
your eyes.
which to me was I'm just like,
Uncommon.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I never seen that.
I literally had teammates. Their first cars were Range Rovers,
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes Benzes,
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars, brand new Lincolns with the heated seats. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
hey,
crazy.
listen, I caught the bus. I caught the bus for 2.5 years. My bus ride from 123rd and Lakeview
Mm-hmm.
to St. Ed's, it was one bus. It was a 326. It
Mm.
took me an hour and 30 minutes to get to school every day.
Mm.
So to where my teammates and my classmates, they ride clean and heavy and tinted windows and nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on bro, I got a bus pass. I got a monthly bus pass.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't understand it, bro. When you know I played basketball and football at the time, and I would literally after basketball practice be standing outside freezing.
Man, me, same here. When I went to the
I'm
Ville, I used to
I'm
ride the bus.
I'm freezing. I'm freezing, brother. after
Mm-hmm.
practice, freezing. I mean, it's been multiple times where, and I was around some good people at St. Ed's, man. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
That some of the parents would take me home.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. DeMarcus, Brett DeMarcus' dad, I remember. He would always take me home after practice, man. He was like, man, that's just it's just too dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then when, someone would drop me off, he'd be like, ooh, you could tell, like you knew it was an uncomfortable feeling. They always made sure the doors was locked, making
Right.
sure, you know what I mean? And I used to tell them, like, hey, listen, make sure you go this way, don't go that way.
Right.
You go that way, you might be in a little bit of trouble coming out.
Right.
So make sure you go this way, not that way. But it was a big culture shock, man. It let me know there was life outside of sports, which was good for me, come full circle now.
Mm-hmm.
But my main goal was I got to get to where I need to get to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
which
funny.
was I need to get a scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
because my thing was I wanted to get a degree, because being at St. Anne's, I understood the importance of a degree, of getting a scholarship. I just knew I was gonna get a scholarship, so and this sounds I'm super confident, man. So I knew I was gonna play college football.
Right.
I knew I was gonna be a starter. I knew I was gonna do all of this.
Right.
It was just about where at the time. My confidence was through the roof. It still is, man. I'm the best. I tell everybody I'm a fine line between confidence and arrogance. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? I say it humbly, man, but I knew I was gonna do that.
Right.
But I made a promise to my mom, to my dad, like, I'm gonna get my degree while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I wanted to do both.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about the culture shock, because I feel like my transition when I went to Iowa, that was a culture shock for me, right? Because I didn't have the experience that you had of going to school, going to high school, white people. I literally went to school with all black people from kindergarten to 12th grade. Only white people I ever really encountered were some of the teachers here and there. And I went to Warrensville and Glenville, and Warrensville was the same way. It was no white people that went to Warrensville. So once I went to Iowa, we went together. To go from that to 500, 250 students and 2 black people everywhere you go, it's white people everywhere. Literally, it's like 2% black people in the state of Iowa, right? So that was a culture shock. I remember. Like,
but the crazy part is they all know you.
Right.
They all know, yeah, man. Like I said, I always felt like, it was and don't get me wrong, I always got not necessarily teased, but that was always the joke. Like, man, you supposed to be a Ville dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Right, what's up? How you go over there? It was all friendly talk, but it was some seriousness to it. But yeah, man, I wouldn't take it back.
Mm-hmm.
My experiences at St. Ed's helped me deal with all the bullshit I had to deal with at Iowa.
Right.
Not knowing, man, I was. And
bullshit politics.
You can vouch for it, man.
Oh, you know it.
I was the go-to guy when y'all had when all my brothers had issues. They would be like, man, talk to Tay. Tay will tell you what to do. Mm-hmm. But in their mind, man, I was the bad guy, and that was crazy.
Yeah,
I was the bad guy. Not knowing
we gonna get to that.
Yeah, not knowing I was the guy that kept everybody from turning into Nat Turner. Start a riot, man. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But yeah, no, my experience at St. Ed's, man, helped me and opened my eyes, man. Mm-hmm. The guy that recruited me to St. Ed's, of course, because you can recruit to go to private schools, man. Mm-hmm. He taught me so much about the business world and how it works that I don't think I could have learned that at that age if I would have went to Glenville.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not at that point in time. Not in that particular time. And I'm talking about
not at that age.
At the age of 14, it was 2004. Mm-hmm. the stuff that I learned and the people that I came across at that age who I still talk to today, and they still are like my advisors, my mentors. I'm just fortunate enough to have mentors on both sides. Coach Ginn,
that's hella dope,
I
man.
look at as a mentor. My coaches, all my St. Anne's connections that I talk to, they are mentors to me, man. It's nothing wrong with having a mentor on both sides of the spectrum. That way that way when you receive the information, you can process it all and find equal balance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's super dope, because I can probably say shit within the past maybe like 5 years is when I really started getting mentors other than football, like former football coaches or things like that I call mentors, but guys with a certain level of business acumen, and just like you say, understanding how business works. I feel like I was like behind the 8 ball on that, because you know what I mean. I was always around black people or in the inner city, then going to Iowa, handling business there. So that's dope that you had those mentors so early.
Yeah, man, it was a blessing, man. Like I said, man, I can't complain about my whole upbringing, because it was the best of both worlds, man. Yeah, to describe it, man, it was pretty much like that movie, The Hate You Give, man. Like how she felt. Her name was Lyric, right? No, or Star. How Star felt at times, and I never voiced it, of course, but in my mind, that's how I felt at times. Like I literally had to be 2 people every day.
Right. That's right.
Every day.
And that's a crazy thing to have to do, like you say, every day and at such a young age.
Yeah, man, I had to be 2 people every day. You know what I mean? And it just so happened that, I end up, during my tenure, man, my great aunt got sick and my great grandfather got sick. So I kind of had to be the man in the house at the same time. So now that's another role that I have to do. So I'm literally, as I'm learning these different aspects of life from my St. Edward connections, and granted, all of these people are white, as they're teaching me how to operate life and businesses, I'm going home. I have to be a totally different person, but also have to take care of a home. I have to take care of 2 elderly people, to where once I start driving, I'm the power of attorney on their for everything. I'm going to the store. I'm driving to the store, paying all the bills, light bill, gas bill, balancing the checkbooks. And I learned it, and a lot of that stuff, man, me going to St. Ed's, that kind of helped me, because they kind of like, okay, boom, 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 this is what you need to do. This is how we do this. This is how you do that. So, like I said, man, me having to go through that was, man, I couldn't ask for anything different.
Yeah. That's dope, man. So talk about, bro, evolving into like the number 9 player in Ohio your senior year. I think I was like number 14 or number 16. And then I think we actually ended up visiting the University of Iowa together the same weekend. Me, you, and Jamel
We did.
all visited Iowa the same weekend. So talk about evolving into that, and also what went into your decision to go to the University of Iowa. Like who was that offered you? What was your confirmation that, okay, I'm gonna go here?
Man, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know how I became the number 9 player. I don't know how I became the number 9 player, because I should have been number 1. So I can't tell you how I became the 9th player.
Man, I think number 1 was Ben Martin, the DN. He went to Ohio State.
Man, I don't care.
Man, I feel like
no, man. Shout out to Ben, man.
Right.
Hey, man, I'll be honest with you, man. I give praise to all my peers, all my, and I call y'all my brothers, man. All my brothers who we went to Raw Talent together. We literally, we may not have had each other's like cell phone number and spoke to each other every day, but we literally, we went to the same trainers, we did the same stuff, and it was like, all right, bro, I see you. I see you here on that day, and it was like, Oh, if he going, I definitely ain't gonna miss.
Right. And man,
And we put that work in. We literally held each other accountable. And at that time, we didn't even know we were doing it.
Right.
So it was just hard work, dedication, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had a Michael Jordan poster in my room, and I had a Deion Sanders jersey hanging up in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, those are my favorite players. And my goal was always be number one. I had list of goals: become number one player in the state, become the number one player, become an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
Go through this. So I came 8 short. So I don't know who had the rankings, but we need to rap. It was just
I always just look at my
man.
position. I always look at my position. I think it was Ben, and then I think one other dude. So I was third, like at my position. So I'm
biased, man. Listen, hey, if we talk about if we talk about the student athlete Diauntae Morrow, there was no player in my position that was better than me. I don't care who film you show me. You can show me their film to this day. If we stepped on the field and we did a one-on-one and we did a nut-cracking drill, if we did whatever, you got to show me. You got to show me. So I think who was in front of me? I think my teammate, my high school teammate, and my boy Nate, he was in front of me. Sorry, Nate. You weren't better than me though.
I remember you always say that.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't no knock on Nate. I just feel like I was better. And he should feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mel was in front of me, maybe, or was he a linebacker? I don't know. I think he may whatever he was.
Yeah, he may have been ahead of you, or right behind you. He may have been like 10 or 11.
And then it was Eugene Clifford, and I remember that, and it was somebody else.
Oh yeah, I remember him. He went to West Virginia.
My man from Eugene Clifford went to Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
From Coleraine, and it might have been the big guy from Trotwood.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, but hey, man, kudos to y'all, whoever y'all paid, to get that ranking in front. No, but respect to everybody, man. I feel like that era of football is different. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy that like all of us, and we were like kind of tight, like we actually did what we said we was gonna do, man. And like looking back at it, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be successful, and it was just like it was easy.
Right.
It was like it was easy to us, man. We didn't know how hard we was working. We didn't know. Right. You don't know what it took. We didn't really know what it took to be a D1 player and be successful and so on and so forth. But we did it.
Right.
And we all held each other accountable. It was a group of us, man. It's a picture that we posted. RIP my brother Rat, man. When it's me, you, Arvell, Bruce. Who else is in there?
It was Otis. I'm a star. Ami.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of us.
And that picture speaks volumes. Like everybody knew us. Man, that speaks volumes. So
yeah. It's man. It's what's even crazier is I remember like once I met you and Bruce, like Bruce actually was the dude who got me hip to like what speed training was at Raw Talent. Like, cause before that, I was literally just a raw talent. Like I never did no speed training. I would lift weights and do like ladder drills and stuff like that. But I never ran with one of those like harnesses, like with the weight, and I never really had somebody to really I never jumped over hurdles. Like I never really had somebody to really hone into me getting faster. That was the first time that I ever did that, when Bruce got me hip to that. And then I started working out with y'all, and that wasn't even until after football season, our 12th grade year.
That was late, man. That was like senior year. Yeah,
exactly. That was late. I had never.
But man, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Them was some of the best workouts. Like even in comparison to the Iowa stuff, and the Toledo stuff, man. I look back at the dudes who we was like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about all Big Ten, SEC, ACC, all they are all starters.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it was a crazy lineup, man. So
Yeah.
I look back at that stuff like we didn't even know.
Right, we didn't. Yeah, we just going to work every day.
That's all we knew, bro. That's all we knew.
So yeah, man, talk about your transition to Iowa, bro. Like it was different than mine. I redshirted, me and Bruce redshirted. But you didn't redshirt. You end up playing your freshman year. So just talk about that transition. Like we talked about earlier, I think it was probably a little easier for you, socially. I'm socially because you went to St. Ed's. But talk about the transition. Obviously, it was hard balancing, like college courses and all the football stuff, and plus we both know what kind of went with the football stuff. So yeah, just talk about that a little bit.
Man, it was unique, man.
Very unique.
Hey, man, listen. In my situation was definitely different from y'all's because I played my freshman year, and honestly, I think my personality, and I get this sometimes. Like, if you don't know, if they didn't understand me enough to know that the person I was, it was just me.
Right.
I mean, you know how I am. We've been knowing each other for almost 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a strong personality.
Right.
I'm a vocal guy. I call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
If it look like shit and it smell like shit, it's shit. It's
Right.
not a steak.
You
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And so, yeah, man. Like I said, I was always confident because I felt like I earned that right to be confident. I put in that work to be confident, and I was a firm believer. It walk the walk, talk the talk, and I did it. And that just wasn't their way of operating. So when I walked in there, I went from fourth string to second string in 2 days. You remember that?
I remember that.
They were like, hey man, you getting busy out here.
Yeah.
Talking about
we used to always talk about it.
We used to always talk about it, man. And it went from that to, because of my personality, and I truly believe they just didn't understand me. It went from that to I might have been one of the most hated guys on the team from the coaching staff.
Right.
Not from the players, but I also might have been one of the most influential, and which I believe, looking back, what scared them more than anything. Because, like I said, I was a guy that not just my Cleveland boys, but all of the younger, my classmates would come and talk to about situations, because everybody felt like, okay, he has dealt with this stuff before. Let's talk to him. Let's get his advice. I was that guy, man. I was that guy that kept a lot of guys off the ledge.
Right. You know that.
Listen, man. N20, what was it? N120, N21? N121, whatever that room number was.
N120.
N120, man.
The Hillcrest dorms.
Hillcrest dorms, brother. Everybody used to be in there after practice, man. It was like we was having like a.
And we used to talk for hours, bro.
Hours. We would talk for hours,
man.
And it was, and I was kind of like the go-to guy, and for whatever reason, being that go-to guy, and my personality didn't go right with the Iowa personnel at that time. Right. They literally, I started to see like like I said, man, I've done a couple interviews, but man, I've defensive coordinator literally walked up and told me, defensive coordinator at the time, he's passed away now, but he literally walked up and told me, like, why are you walking around with your head held so high? You ain't done shit here. Who are you?
Right.
And the average young man may have responded differently, but my response was, I'm the same guy you recruited.
Right.
Me saying that and you know, and responding in those type of ways is what got them to feel how they felt about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told by multiple sources, man, players and staff, former staff who I became closer with, after my tenure at Iowa when I was coaching. They was just like, man, they just didn't like you. And I was just like, well, what's the reason? I got busy on the field. I was literally the second string backup safety, second string backup free safety, second string backup strong safety. I was the starting nickel back.
Mm-hmm.
This is all my freshman year. I took more reps in practice than anybody in the secondary every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always something that, and like when you're great, you're always held to a higher standard, right?
Right.
And I felt like that, but I also felt like, well, shit. Do I receive any reward for me being this good and me meeting the criteria that you have for me?
Right.
Because nobody else has this. Nobody else has this criteria set, these requirements. You should have made that play. You should have made this play. Well, coach, I was all the way across the field. Well, I've seen you make that play before. So once you do it one time, you showing me that you can do it more than once. Okay, well, is everybody else required to make these plays across the field?
Right.
And you know, when I used to question it, that's when it became an issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, hey coach, why does this guy get a plus for doing the same thing I did and I got a minus?
Mm-hmm.
We expect you to do more. But coach, I'm not the starter.
Right. It's BS.
Well, if you want to become the starter, you need to do this. Well, coach, I did that. But you're not asking me to do what the starter doing. You asking me to make plays that only I can make.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in the secondary can make them.
Right.
So if I'm that guy, why am I not the starter? Well, you're not ready yet. I didn't get it.
Right.
And then when I started to have meetings with the coaches and question, what was going on, they start, and I know this now because, like I said, I was a coach.
Mm-hmm.
What coaches would do sometimes, now pay attention to this, ladies and gentlemen, what coaches would do sometimes is I was being judged off of something that was not factual. It was opinion-based.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian, you remember when I had all the records and I had all the Hawkeye Award records. Yeah. The only person that I was behind was Bob Sanders. Mm-hmm. Vertical jump, broad jump, 10-yard dash, laser. Mm-hmm. I was sophomore, going into my sophomore year, I had a 40-plus inch vertical. Mm-hmm. Me and you used to squat together. I didn't even squat with the skill players. I squatted with the big skill. Brian, you was like, man, hey, man, how you squat with me? You like, I need to get my weight up. You know what I mean? You like, man, I like Wakefield, but I was squatting with the big dudes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my squat was decent too. I sure like five something, 550.
We was up there. Yeah. I would never put that on my back right now, but me either. Hey man, me and you was up there, and you were a bigger guy. I was only 200, 205, and so everything. But what they would do, they would judge me off of stuff that was opinion based.
Right, just opinion based.
I think you're not hustling, or I felt like you could have made this play instead of looking at the grade out sheet. Hey, coach, look at the grade out sheet. Mm-hmm. Did I grade out? Yeah, I graded out. Did he grade out? No, he didn't grade out. So why are you holding me to a higher standard? So I think where we when I started to question stuff that they were not used to, because let's be honest, that coaching staff, if you look at our 2007 class, that would, and this is my opinion, by no means am I disrespecting any previous Hawkeye class or current. Mm-hmm. That class, one of the best classes to walk in the building.
I agree.
And one of the best, I mean, hey man, Desmond Moses, Jerry Bernstein, Marvin McNutt, Christian Ballard, Mike Daniels,
Brian Balaga.
Brian Balaga.
Like, bruh.
Hey man, listen.
Come
Hey,
on, man.
listen. There's nothing you can tell me. That front four alone,
Man, nothing you can say.
Christian. That I don't want to hear it.
Right.
So,
How
we
they
forgetting
did?
about we forgetting about Javon Pugh running back. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. And he he
Colin
played.
Sanderman.
Yeah, Colin Sanderman.
Colin Sanderman. It was only a few of us that actually played
That class.
consistently,
That class was crazy.
and I believe half of us transferred
Mm-hmm.
for somewhat similar reasons because
Yep.
it was just like
The way they
the
way they did Desmond, bro. That after he got in trouble, that shit was so foul. And
But it wasn't even.
Bernstein
It
too.
wasn't even before. It wasn't even before. We were all three of us played that night. I remember me, Dez, and Jordan Bernstein playing. Oh, Jacody Coleman. We good.
Yeah,
Can't forget about my boy.
yeah, Cody.
That night because we didn't play the first game, which we played at Soldier Field, which was crazy.
Yeah.
We played that next game,
Syracuse.
night game at Syracuse.
Yeah, I remember.
Crazy. And I remember Phil Parker walking up to me like, "You ready, brother? About to pop your cherry." Went in there. I think I got 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 or 2 assisted tackles, and that night was crazy.
Yeah.
But
I remember that.
it was you know what I mean. It was. And after we played, it was just like they kept telling us to wait our turn, and I'm watching Ohio State play, and I'm watching my boy Jamel Hines get busy.
Right.
And we talking to Mel on the phone.
Right.
He like, man, shit, they don't care who playing who what year you is. They gonna play the best players. And my man Kyle Jefferson is
that's
catching bombs.
Kyle went crazy that year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
My other boy, my boy Frank Edmonds playing for Ball State. Going for 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, one of the most talented secondary players on our team, and you telling me I need to wait my turn.
Man, telling you, bro.
And there was no rhyme or reason for me waiting my turn outside of you telling me I wasn't ready.
And what's even more crazy is it was all smoke. It was all smoke, like because
all smoke and mirrors.
Because the next year when Sash became the starter, they benched number 2, what's his name?
Harold Dalton.
Yeah, Harold Dalton. Yeah, they benched him. That was his senior year, and they benched him.
So listen. So listen to how crazy this was, right? We always play our warm-up games. So we played our warm-up games, and I went crazy one game. I think we played Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And I went crazy.
2008, right?
Yeah, I went crazy. I led the secondary in tackles off of 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going through everything, and some of the older guys called me on my phone like, "Hey, bro, it's your time. Come in." He like, "Hey, it's your time." I'm like, "What you talking about?" They like, "It's your time." They like, "Well, Phil gonna call you. Come in. He gonna tell you about to be the starter. After that, we gonna watch film together, because you got to be ready." This is coming from my upperclassmen that are playing.
Yeah.
Harold meets with Phil. They obviously tell him like, "Hey, we're going in a different direction."
Mm-hmm.
I was the next guy in. We called him HD. HD was like, "Hey, this your spot, bro." He like, "Congratulations, bro." I'm like, "What the hell you talking about?" He like, "You about to start." He was like, "Ain't nobody, who else gonna start but you?" This literally what they telling me. Because at the time, RP Tyler Sass was a scout team player.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tyler Sass.
He was realistically, he was 4th string.
Yeah.
Because he was behind.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. In 2008.
Hey, man. Listen. He's right. So I walk in there, and the first thing he said, "Hey, hope you're ready, brother. You guys are competing for the starting job." He said, "You you obviously have, he's obviously got to beat you out, that you obviously have played and he hasn't. You're in front of him. And
oh yeah, because Saj redshirted. Oh yeah. He redshirted like me. Yeah.
I don't want to say I was the reason he redshirted because I don't have proof of that. But what I can say is when I walked into camp, Tyler Sash was the second string free safety. I was the fourth or fifth string free safety. That second day of camp, when I told you I walked in, I moved from fifth string free safety
to
second string free safety.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Sash went to developmental squad, which is the redshirt squad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to sit up here and say, and like I said, Tyler was my boy. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I took a spot or none of that, I think anything of that nature, but I'm just telling you, I'm just stating the facts.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it happened, he was like, you in competition. I'm like, because at the time, it was David Cato, the young bull.
Yeah, I remember David Cato.
Heavy. Me and him I was second team, he was third team. He was like, they said that they split. It's a battle between y'all three. We're gonna grade y'all. And listen, we're gonna grade you every day.
Oh, for real? That's what they was doing?
They grade us every day.
Mm.
I graded out higher than them every day.
Mm. For how long?
For a week.
Okay.
It was that week prep.
Oh,
So
okay. Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Monday to Thursday.
So Monday to Thursday. I graded out all three practice. Let's say I averaged an 80, they probably would have averaged Tyler was at 75. I think Cato might have been like 73, 70, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm clearly statistically the guy.
Right.
Come Thursday, Coach Parker said, you had a hell of a week. Make sure you're ready. Didn't say I was starting. Said, make sure you're ready. They don't say, he said, well, I'll let you guys know Friday. When we have our team dinner, meeting, film, go to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Never said anything on Friday. We have our little position breakdown. He said, I'll talk to you guys Saturday morning, let you know.
the day of the game.
So in my mind, I'm like, I already know, like, they about to fuck me. Like, they about to fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly but surely.
What was that Iowa State game?
It was the next, whatever. No, it wasn't the Iowa State game. I can't remember who it was. It was it was another warm-up game. It was another warm-up game.
Okay.
Slowly but surely, come Saturday morning, Danny handed us the depth chart list.
Saturday morning,
breakfast, right after breakfast. It has Tyler Sash, Diauntae Morrow. You talking about hot?
I'm about to say, how did that make you feel?
Bro, I was fucking livid.
I can only imagine, bro.
I was livid. I was livid for multiple reasons, but I was livid.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This was my mindset, bro. This was always my mindset. I'm gonna make you play me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he say, you know, you guys are gonna go first two. You guys are gonna switch off every other series.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know who the starter is right now. And I'm just like, well, okay. I don't know why not?
Yeah. So he
Sash
started
one series.
Yeah, and then you went the next series.
Sash one season. It was supposed to be Morrow the next series. It was supposed to be.
Oh, so that didn't happen.
I didn't get they didn't put me into the fourth quarter.
Wow. So they basically lied to you.
Blatantly lied to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly feel like it was a setup. They really wanted him to play anyways, no matter what I did.
Right.
That's what I honestly feel.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna say anything to change my mind on that. Because that's legit what happened.
Right.
And this is no disrespect to my man at all. Talent wise, it wasn't close. I let my and that's just me. That's me being confident.
Mm-hmm.
That's me being honest, though.
So yeah,
There
let me ask you
there
this.
was nothing that me and you could that, and you could ask my. There was nothing that he could do on the football field that I couldn't.
Right.
I
And
was faster. I was the whole nine.
And
You there?
as yeah, I'm here. Let me ask you this, man. So all that happened, you know, they feed you the bullshit. They lie to you, say y'all gonna go series to series, and that don't happen. You don't get into the fourth quarter. But then the next game, I think with Iowa State, I think he ended up having like 2 picks. He ended up having like 2 picks, or maybe 1 or 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Like on paper, he had a crazy game. I think he had like 9 tackles and 2 picks. But obviously, we know the game. We know the game. So on paper, it looked like he had a good game. But what did it look like to you? Like you really knowing the game and you feeling like you was better than him?
It felt like he made it. Honestly, listen, if I'm a guy, so if you're in a game, make the plays that you're supposed to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the grade out sheet was,
Mm-hmm.
but he did have 2 picks. I can't take that away from him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit there and say that, hey, man, I would have stood at that position and got that pick the same way, except instead of me being tackled, I would have scored. I can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a bad player by no means. Obviously, look at his accolades and look at what he's done.
Right.
But I can say this. I wasn't given the opportunities that he was given.
Right.
And I can't say that he did not earn it, but I can say that he had more assistance with him playing.
Right.
There was more likelihood for him to receive leeway from the coaches than for me to receive it.
Oh yeah, you know that.
That's just what it was. That's just how I felt, and it wasn't just me that felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
My teammates would walk up to me and be like, "That's some bullshit."
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't jealous at Tyler Sash by no means.
Of course.
Like I said,
not.
he was nice.
And we was cool with him. That was our boy.
My issue wasn't with Sash by no means.
Exactly.
If you in the game, make the fucking play.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It's no. That's how we rock.
Right.
Whether you always make the best of your situation, but but me speaking from my side, I wasn't privy to those opportunities for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But after my tenure there, I learned why. I knew why. I mean, I knew it when I was there, but it just was what it was. You know what I mean? And at that age, and we didn't have those
19.
platforms. We didn't, 18, 19. Yep. At the age, we didn't have the social media platforms to speak out about injustice, inequality, and
like
how
they got right now.
Treated.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, but listen, it's so crazy because they just now can get a Twitter.
Right.
It's
after all the years.
That's 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter's been like, it's crazy how long Twitter been out, but 13 years. They just can now have a Twitter.
Yeah, I remember Twitter came out in 2009, and I had it, but I guess they didn't know about it. Like the coaches hadn't heard about it, and then I had a Twitter for like, probably like a month, and then once DJ K once DJ K got a Twitter, he got like thousands of followers, and I guess that got back
it was too much.
Yeah, I guess that got back to the coaches, and we had a team meeting the next day, and it was like whoever got Twitter, you got to deactivate your account. You can't have it until you leave the University of Iowa.
Hey, freedom of speech gone right there.
But man, it's crazy, bro, because I think shit, even if we had the social media platforms they got now, I think the way we was raised, we was all just so like, obviously we used to talk in our circle about the bullshit that we was experiencing. But
yeah.
But we knew, I feel like we all was we knew just to continue just to fight. Like I feel like we would talk about it like in our circle. But even if we had those platforms, I still can't see none of us actually really telling the truth about the bullshit that we went through through a tweet or through a
Well,
notes
yeah,
post
because
or anything like that.
For us, man, you got to remember, for us, we took pride in pissing people off. And when I say pissing them off, we took pride. Like I said, my mentality was, I'm gonna make you play me. I had to do the same thing at St. Ed's. Like I literally, like I'm gonna make you play me. I took more pride in that than anything. So you know what I mean? Like I take pride in saying, like, I took this spot.
Right.
It wasn't given to me.
Right.
I took everything that I've earned, that I have up until now. None of this was given to me. I've always been an underdog. We've always been underdog. Black young kid, inner city, whatever the case may be.
Know that.
So I took pride in that. So that was, and our thing was, hey, ain't no excuses.
Right. Like we would have our moment.
There was no excuses.
Yeah,
so
we would have our moments. We would have our moments
we
with
would
each
talk
other.
After practice,
with each other, and then
and go out there and have. And you know what I used to do at practice? I used to go out there, and this was me. I was always this guy. I'm a big shit talker. I'm gonna talk it. One, because I know mentally it can frustrate the other guy. Two, because I know I'm so competitive, I'm going to force myself to level up and back it up.
Right.
So I'm going out there, I'm talking shit, but I'm backing it up every day.
Right.
Whether I'm sore, I don't care. That was my reason for talking shit.
Right.
in my mind, I'm telling you talking shit because that's what make you play harder. So, and to me, that was part of the game. That's our culture. We have fun. We talk big. It's not about fighting. There's no insults. But if you run my way, you better send. I was a safety. If you run my way, you better send 2 people to block me. Because if you send a receiver, it's not gonna happen. And I used to make a play and yell at the coach, and they'd be like, "How'd you get pulled to the side? We don't do this shit here."
Right. I was just about
and
to say that.
I'm like, hey, coach, it's no disrespect, man. I'm having fun with my teammates. But, when I used to do that, my boys used to get going.
Man, I was just about to say that, bro.
Used to get going.
Man, listen.
And they used to be like, shut that shit up.
Right. I mean, listen, bro.
Like they took the fun from the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like for whatever reason, and I don't know if Iowa is like it's still like this, bro. But if one of their recruits come in with natural ability, because I think Iowa, they pride themselves in developing you and making you, kind of molding you into
I was
player.
one of those guys. I was one of those guys that I didn't need that. I just needed you to just call Phil 8-lock.
Right.
Hey, listen. I already know that. Hey, line up and Phil 8-lock under 8-lock. We get 2x2. We roll and cover 3. If we get, you know what I mean, we get 2 to the boundary. We roll and cover 3. We get a 2x1 set. I'm playing hammer or I'm playing nail. And on the backside, I'm playing Kathy. Hey, Brian, it's still coming to me like it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's still coming to me like it's nothing. So I didn't. It didn't matter. Like, this is what I did. But that's why I say, like, a lot of coaches will recruit you because they don't want to play against you. They don't care. A lot of coaches don't care to understand who you are as a person, why you act the way you act. And by no means did I ever start any trouble.
Right. No, never that.
That's just how I played the game of football. That's how I played sports. I talked the talk, but it wasn't nothing malicious. I wasn't talking about your mother or your girlfriend or all that. It was all you gonna have a long day with me, brother. You can't block me. You better pray to whoever you believe in and give you some strength, because it's gonna be a long day. That was me. That was my conversation.
And that was one of the first things I really realized once I got there, man. And that was a hard pill to swallow. Is if you had some swagger to you and some flair and you already had some talent coming in there, I saw early that they were going to be determined to shut that shit down. Like talking shit, talking trash, any type of. And for me, playing on the D line, like I came in, Coach Ferentz called it Kirk Ferentz called it a linear guy. I was a linear guy. You know, I was 219, fast as shit, explosive. Like I was a pass rusher for real.
Right.
I could play the run, but I was a pass rusher. I come in doing spin moves and just like all type of shit that you know they don't teach at Iowa.
Oh
And
no, we don't do
so
that.
right. So like it's like a lot of players say conform, but like you really did have to conform. You can't have no swag. You can't be doing anything. You can't be doing your own shit or spin move this or anything that they don't teach. Like you can't do anything that they don't teach. Just all those kinds of things, man. Like obviously, and then they look at you crazy when you know some guys choose to transfer, or even a situation like now, which I'm gonna talk to you about, which this year you got 50 plus players coming out speaking out about being mistreated all at the same time, all within like 1 week.
Yeah.
Like it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, man. And you know, it was me and a couple other guys, man. Like I said, it wasn't just me. And I don't really want to speak for them, but it was like I said, that 07 class was a bunch of guys, was a bunch of ready to play freshmen. And I don't think like Desmond Moe, like I tell him, I did an interview, I talked to Des, man. He's got a podcast, my bro. Yeah. He was one of the first guys. He looked like Terry Crews.
Yeah,
coming out of like
as a freshman.
What's up, bro? Like he had a deep
got
voice.
The real deep voice.
Yeah, like he had a 6-pack at 250.
Yeah,
like
he was a freak.
And he can. And we would remember when we would go in the gym and put smoke on the Iowa basketball team.
Man, we were running. We would run the court, bro.
Bro, he would come down.
He could hoop too.
Crazy handles, J word.
We had a lot of dudes on the team that could hoop. Him, Tony Moyaki, AC was punching crazy.
Marv could play.
Yeah, Marv was cold. Yeah,
Vail could play.
Vail, yeah.
We would go into an open gym during spring ball, and the back, like you know, they would be like, "Hey man, I can't. Wait, when y'all leaving? Don't y'all got practice?" Yeah, man. It was like
them hoop sessions be crazy.
And we was all competitive, but it was like I said, yeah, man. Like you said, it was like if you walked in there and you did not need any developmental assistance, like physical developmental assistance, and you just needed to learn Roger.
Yeah, defense.
You know what I'm saying? Reggie, Louis, and you just need to learn the defense, the calls, field A-lock, under A-lock. It was like, we don't really like this. We don't like that you don't need us so much. And I was one of those guys. It was some other, you know what I mean? So, but it just, they didn't understand us. They didn't care to understand us.
Right.
They didn't care to know us as student athletes.
Right.
It was just my way or the highway. Conform, or we'll make your life a living hell. And
literally.
Oh yeah, my last year was hell, bro.
Yeah, what was the confirmation? What was the last straw? Because you can kind of relive today. I know when you and Doyle got into it, I wasn't in the workout. I think I worked out before or after that. But
no, we had the first one. This was 6 a.m.
Yeah. Obviously, I heard about it, and I know that was the last straw. But let's talk about that, man, because and I think when everybody started kind of telling their own little story, I had to be honest. Like, I was firm in my belief. Like, yeah, I never argue with Doyle, but I saw him say and do foul shit to a lot of my teammates. Like, and people let their opinion and like, oh well, I never argue with him, so it's like I didn't see that. It's like, nah, yeah, you did. Like, you didn't argue with him, but you saw the foul shit he's saying to these dudes. You see how he treating these dudes. Like, you can't turn a blind eye.
The blind eye, man. They turn a blind eye. Well, one, I can say that there's not one player that has never seen him do anything.
Right, not one.
I mean, listen. So, like we talked about, the big joke with me was that I didn't go to a quote unquote hood school, that I went to the prep school or the private. I was the private school boy.
Right.
Remember that was a joke.
Yeah, I remember.
You're not tough. You didn't go to Glenville. You weren't in the hood. All of that. So, that was the joke. But and like I said, they never got to know us, build a relationship. So the shit you're saying isn't really funny. And not little do you know, I take offense to it, and so do my brothers.
Right.
Because we don't know what you mean by that.
Exactly.
Excuse me. But so I'll backtrack a little bit. So, we talked about the 2 years of me supposed to start, not starting this, then the third. Them telling me I need to wait my turn. I need to do more, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to January 2009, the bowl game, the Outback Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember then, Brett Greenwood, Tyler Sash, they had both had surgery. One of those guys wasn't supposed to play or was questionable, and I was supposed to start. You remember I started the whole bowl prep.
Yeah, they had like shoulder surgery or something like that, right?
Shoulder surgeries.
Yeah, I remember that.
I started the whole bowl prep. So it was they like, hey, listen, you're going to be ready to play. You're going to play even if they start. Even if you don't start, look to get at least 50% of the playing time.
Mm-hmm.
We played South Carolina, right?
Yeah,
so when we played South Carolina, it was a situation where the only thing they put me in the game on was special teams. I got 3 reps of kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to throw me in the game. I didn't get up. And they tried to throw me in the game with like 3 minutes left. And Phil was like, hey, you want to get in? I'm like, man, I don't care. If you're going to put me in, put me in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you asking me. Like,
yeah.
Because and I truly believe that he knew the shit was, he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
He came up to me as if like he was asking me that I want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
He like, hey, you want to go in? It was like 2 minutes left. I'm like, man, if you're gonna put me in, put me in.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you're gonna give me attitude, then you won't go in. I'm just like, all right. And it was, at this point, it's like,
yeah, right.
Bro, you clearly lied. You shitted on me on multiple occasions. So,
multiple times, right?
Go back, and then I end up going in on the last kickoff. Coach Wilson, shout out to my dude. He had me starting on kickoff, or he was rotating me in one or the other. I went in. I think I missed contain or something, and I gave up contain, but I also got double teamed.
Yeah.
I got smoked. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. They smoked me on that kickoff, bro. I got double teamed, so I'm just like,
who was whipping their ass? Who whipped their ass that game?
Yeah, they smoked me on that kickoff, though. I'm not gonna lie. They smoked me. I went up against probably like the 2 backup linebackers, which no excuse, but they got me. So they got me, and then I came on the sideline, and Kurt Ferentz went bananas. Listen, he went bananas
on you.
On me for that. He went bananas on me. I mean, like, I ain't never heard Kurt talk like this.
Yeah.
That's how he was talking to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Kurt don't really say much.
Right.
Not at you. He may say something like, he's not a direct guy. He said something. He didn't say it at me. He don't really talk at you. He said it, and it was like, I'm like, what the? I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
The game, and I mean, of course, you as a coach, you want everything right, but I'm like, whoa. Yeah. It's definitely overboard.
Yeah.
He got, and that's why you're not fucking. That's why you didn't get in, and and I'm just standing there. He's like, you better fucking respond, and I'm like, I'm like, all right. And I thought he was done, so I walked away. He like, you don't fucking walk away from me when I'm talking to you.
Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I'm just like, so during that time, you know, you go back home. I went back home, man.
Mm-hmm. After the
and
bowl
I was
game,
I'm contemplating on what should I do. And I'm just like, I'm like, man, you know, I'm talking back with my family, my people. I'm like, man, I know this. Like, man, dude don't like me. They don't like me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. They was telling Ginn false stories about me. Because, of course, you know, Ginn, one of my mentors.
Mm-hmm.
They telling Ginn a story about me. And Ginn's calling me like, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And I'm like, that's not what's happening.
Right.
He like, well, why are they telling me this? I'm just like, man, I don't know why they telling you this. But they are like, they're lying to you.
Right.
Like they're literally, he's like, well, why, you know? And at the time, he's like, why? They don't have a reason to lie to me. I'm like, listen, man. Like, yeah, you know me.
Right.
I'm not the guy that they're saying. You know, they was, hey, he's not working hard at practice. He's lazy. He's this. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm great out at practice. What part of being lazy am I doing?
Tell him all
I'm like,
lies.
hey, I'm setting weight room records. I'm setting personal goals. I'm setting all-time goals records.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? So do that. So the competitor I am, man. The competitor I am.
You decide to go back.
I say, you know what? They're gonna play me. I'm gonna make them play me. My mind said the whole time, I'm going to make them. They are going to hate to play me, but they are going to have to play me.
Mm-hmm.
I promised myself, I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crush every record. And spring ball hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to create hell on any offensive player that come my way.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my mindset. Go in there, come back, fresh start. I meet with the coach, meet with Phil Parker. Phil Parker said, hey, man, what's going on, this and the third? We have a man-to-man conversation. I tell him, I said, hey, man, I feel like you've lied to me on multiple occasions. You never gave me a valid reason to what was going on. I feel like y'all full of shit. He was like, well, the answer he gave me was a runaround answer.
Of course. You know that.
And, you know, you fast forward. I say, okay. I say, listen, coach. I say, listen, whatever y'all got against me, give me a fair shot. That was the last. I said, whatever y'all got against me, give me a fair. Whatever y'all got against me, whatever y'all mindset is about me, give me a fair shot going in the spring ball. We can take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even worry about it. I won't be no problem. The next day, within that week, 6 a.m. workout, I had called. I had got I ended up getting like a little stomach virus.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you're supposed to contact the trainer. I had contacted the trainer the day before.
Mm-hmm.
They had set up like appointment for me at the doctor at Iowa Hospital. It was already known. It was already known because as a coach, I know the coaches have staff meetings 2 or 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm. Talk
about personnel, who's doing this, schoolwork, who's healthy, who's not healthy. So it was already known. Mm-hmm. And I knew Phil knew. So I knew that if Phil knew, I knew that Doyle knew. Because in the offseason, you don't even see the position coaches.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Walking there, I'm doing a warm-up. I get dizzy. I hadn't ate anything. I think I lost 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. I had lost 5 pounds in like a day and a half because I couldn't eat. And, you know, it was everything was just liquid. I said, hey, I'm dizzy. The trainer, I talked to the trainer like, hey, man, I'm a little dizzy. Like, he like, hey, yeah, you got your doctor's appointment. Come over here. Just get on the bike, ride the bike, and drink some fluids. Mm-hmm. At that time, Tyler Sash and Brett Greenwood had just had another surgery or something because they were out. So he's like, hey, one of those guys get off the bike. One of them got off the bike. I got on the bike, and Coach Doyle was in the. Well, I don't even call that dude that. CD was in the. He was in the. We were in the bubble. He was across the field. You know, the bikes were in the front entrance where you walk in at to the left.
Mm-hmm.
He was across the field on the right, maybe at the 30-yard line, working with somebody in the speed station.
Mm-hmm.
He looks over like, who is that, Morrow? I'm just like, hey, yeah, it's me, Coach. And I heard him say something. I don't know what it was. So he storms over. He's like, fuck are you doing over here? I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? I'm like,
I swear.
I had no clue what was about to happen, bro. So I'm like, hey, yeah, Coach, you know, I got a little dizzy. You know what I mean? He told me to get on the bike. Who told you to get on the bike? So I'm pointing. I'm like, the trainer. I forgot what his name was. Maybe it was. I forgot what it was.
Russ?
Younger guy. It was one of the younger guys.
Okay.
So he was like, you get the fuck off the bike. Get the fuck off the bike. He's like, you get the fuck off the bike.
Did he tell you to get off the bike?
No, he told me to get the fuck off the bike.
Did you get off the bike?
Hey, I guess so. Hey, so
that's
but
crazy as fuck, bro.
Listen, no, he wasn't finished. Like, get the fuck off the bike. I'm like, Coach, what's up? He's like, you see these two guys right here standing? These guys need to be on the bike. They're Iowa athletes. They're Big Ten football players. They've got the accolades. They deserve to be on this bike. You don't deserve to be shit. You don't deserve to be on this bike. You haven't done shit here. Who the hell are you? You doing this, doing that. So I had to take a breath. You know how my head goes sometimes.
Right. You can feel yourself. You about to go crazy.
I instantly, in my mind, I'm on St. Clair.
Yeah. But
physically, like, it's not what it doesn't look like St. Clair.
Right. We in Iowa City.
Mm-hmm. So I step off the bike, and they're looking like
they shot. Yeah, they shocked that he said that. Yeah.
I pull him to the side. Hey, Coach, can I talk to you for a minute? What? I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you talking? Why where did all this come from?
Yeah.
He going on another rampage. You're bullshit. You don't do this. You don't do that. You don't deserve this. You don't do that. Fuck around. I'll send your ass back to Glenville. And you do what? I snap.
Yeah.
So we're going back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, already disrespect me once. You're not gonna disrespect me again. Like, that's not gonna happen. So we going back and forth. And I end up, hey, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, we going back and forth, F-bombs. He dropping F-bombs. We literally like this.
Face to face.
Because we like this.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it was another strength conditioning coach, and then it was a couple players. They kind of separated us.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was definitely going there.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready for it. If you get the fuck out of here, you don't come back. Boom, I'm out. So instantly my phone is going crazy. I'm in class. My phone is going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My phone is going crazy. La da 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 da. You know, get a call from Phil Parker. Hey, what happened this morning, buddy? You gotta come meet with me. Talk to Phil. I tell Phil what happened. He's like, I wish you wouldn't have did that. I wish you would have just walked away. I'm like, hey, Coach, I don't tolerate too much disrespect, especially if I don't give it out.
Right.
Like, all right, now you got to go talk to him. So I talked to him for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of us just all meeting as one. He's like, okay, well, we got to figure this thing out. I had to apologize or something. I'm like, we can sit down and have a conversation. I'm not apologizing. Then I go back, talk to Ferentz. Ferentz pretty much supports everything CD said. Then he runs down his resume. He's done this. He's done this. He's done this. He's done this. He's got this. He's got this. He's been here. He's been here. Who are you? What have you done? As far as I'm concerned, you're an underachiever. You haven't done much here. He so-called call this breaking me down.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, in order for you to be a part of this Iowa football team, you need to go apologize to him. Because right now, you're suspended from the weight room. And if you can't work out, you can't walk in the facility, I don't know how you're going to be a part of us, part of the Hawkeyes. I get up, I say, Coach, my mother and father never talked to me like that. I've never disrespected any coach in here. I said, I'm open to have a conversation with him. I'm not apologizing to him. So I walk in there, they got the bubble where the bubble had them big, strong, them big, man, doors. So I open the door, his office is right in the front. Clear glass window. As soon as he see me walk in, you can see like he was waiting on me. Like Ferentz just called him like he's coming down. Because as soon as I opened the door, he turned, he looked. He always gave that little eyebrow. Mm-hmm. And the eyebrow, and you can see him just get like red and like tense up. Like, so my mom like, well, this shit ain't about to go good.
Right.
One, I knew one, but bro, there wasn't nobody in there.
Oh, it was just y'all?
In his office, yeah. The assistants were in their offices, but
okay,
it would have been too late, bro.
Yeah.
And I was just like, walk in there. Hey, coach, what's up? We got time to talk? Yeah, what's up? This is his energy.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm like, hey, some stuff was said. Yesterday, we, I kind of want to squash a nip in the bud. Nip in the bud? Oh, no. I feel like you should never talk to me this way. I've done this, I'm this. Who are you? He back on it full-fledged. And I take a deep breath. I'm like, in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, not too much of this gonna go on.
Yeah.
So I stood up because he's like, you owe me a fucking apology. I stood up.
How do you ask somebody for an apology and cussing at them? Like, man, that's ridiculous.
He wasn't asking. That's where you mistaken. It was a command.
Right.
Not a demand, a command. Like, you owe me an apology. If you want to walk back in my weight room, you owe me an apology. That was my options. I'm like, I took a deep breath. I just stood up because I'm on St. Clair right now. So my mental is not where it's needed to be. So I get up. I just take a deep breath, like, hey, coach, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I said, yeah, I see this conversation not getting anywhere. Thank you. I stick my hand out. He gave me one of these. He looked at me like this and turned his seat. Never shook my hand.
And you walked out.
Last time I walked in there. That's the last time I've been in there.
Did you go back to Phil's office or Kirk's office, or you walked out the building?
There's no need for me to talk to Kirk. I talked to Phil, and pretty much Phil was just like, he pretty much insinuated like once you get on Doyle's bad side, there's nothing I can do for you.
Which is even more crazier that he actually said that. Like, imagine that though. Like, that he actually said that.
I mean, but we all knew like Doyle had the power.
Right.
Like I said in my article with ESPN, if Ferentz is the CEO, Chris Doyle is the COO. There's nothing that, you know what I mean? Everything that the COO does is backed by the CEO. He's a second in command. So it was what it was, man. And you know, that is what it is. So that was my situation.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the DJK situation
Mm-hmm.
unfold
Mm-hmm.
in person. I mean, we've seen them DJK get kicked out of the weight room for wearing a cutoff T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've seen it all, man. We've seen it all. We've seen Dez
Move the D tackle.
log. We've seen Dez have to log roll for 2 practices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, man. It's
so many stories, man.
It's so many stories, but at the end of the day, like, my biggest thing with Kurt is that he blatantly lied, bro. He blatantly said this. Anytime you say I cannot recall if that did or did not happen, you're lying to me. And I know you're lying because, Kurt, you talked to my father. You talked to me.
Right. Now you can't recall it.
Now you can't recall what happened. And if you're lying about this situation, you definitely lying about more. And we've heard more stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out and spoke my piece. Just because I wanted to support the younger guys.
Right.
Like I said, our mentality is a lot different because of how we were born, because of how we grew up and where we grew up. It's a lot different than the younger guys.
Right. It is a lot different.
You know what I mean? It's a lot different. But I've received nothing but praise about me speaking up and speaking out. I've spoken to former and current players on the Iowa football team, talked to their parents.
Me too.
About speaking to their sons, about, situations that have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, that's what I'm more proud about that than actually just speaking out. Like, I want to make sure that the young guys are good, because I know everybody doesn't have the mindset I have of just like, I'm going to make you hate me, but hate me for a reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's always been my mindset. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to, in the right way, in the correct manner, like, show you, like,
right,
you were wrong.
Right.
But
Crazy,
that's
man. And so you end up transferring to Toledo.
Yep.
So how was that experience being there for? Because you sat out 1 year, then you played 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
for 2 years.
How was Toledo in comparison? Like, what were some moments that stand out to you in Toledo?
You just got to be yourself, man. I didn't have to take my hat off before I walked in the building. I didn't have to take my earrings out before I stepped foot on the University of Toledo welcome mat. Like, it was just like, hey, man, you could be yourself. Yeah. And that was all I needed, was to be myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to be myself, and it was smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Because that's all I needed. All I needed was an opportunity, and for me to be myself. And I became a leader, secondary leader, a defensive leader, a team leader. You know what I mean? I end up, I made such an impression that I end up getting an opportunity to coach at Davidson. Because one of my position coach became the head coach. You know what I mean? Me and him had built a great relationship, and he always was fond of my football knowledge and me being a leader in the film room and all of that stuff. So, you know what I mean? It was just different, man. It wasn't they were, but like I said, they were more open to us.
That's dope, man. I'm glad that you had that experience. Kind of
Hey
shit.
man,
Basically on
I tried to
the
get all
other
of y'all to
side.
transfer.
I
I
know,
tried to get
bro.
all of y'all to transfer.
I know, man. It's crazy. Like, cause my dad used to tell me all the time, man, transfer, brother, dude. They don't fuck with you. Transfer. And you know me, just
That was our mindset.
stubborn. I'm just like, man, I'm gonna prove to them that I'm good enough. And so now it's funny. I be talking to Mike Daniels. And we just always go back to those years, 2008, 2009. 2009, we ended up having a good season, but we was like ranked the best defensive line in the country. But like, obviously, I was behind AC, and AC was a hell of a player. AC was a hell of a player. Everybody know that. He's still in the league now. But the fact that we were the only school in like the country that didn't rotate defensive linemen, like, like it was some games where me and Mike didn't get no snaps, but we knew that we would be a starter at any other university. Like, you know what I'm saying? I probably should have transferred. I think I was just stubborn and just wanted to prove them wrong, bro.
It wasn't that we were stubborn, bro. It was that that's how competitive we were.
Right.
It had nothing to do with like an ego or being stubborn. It was, we were so competitive because, and this was all our mindsets. We were so competitive and confident in our ability that we knew that we were that good.
Right.
If you put us on the field, we'll show you why. We would show you and the fans why we should be playing. But we didn't understand that as long as they didn't put us on the field, the fans didn't have anything to request.
Right. That's fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to where we might have been killing at practice, they'd be like, hey, good, do your thing at practice. Because you'll never see game day.
Right.
And that was the killer. But we had work. We literally, and at that time, to really get to where you wanted to be, we pretty much gave up our childhood. There weren't many family field trips, vacations.
Man, I used to miss all the family vacations.
Family reunions.
I used to miss all those.
It was all work, no play.
Football. Yeah, man.
It was all work, no play. So yeah, man, it was crazy. But you know what I mean? I've gained multiple brothers.
Oh, you know that.
From this
relationships.
game, this simple game we call football, man. I've built so many relationships and became close with so many great people, man.
Man, you know it. Yep.
You know, it is what it is, man. With
it is
you,
what it is.
You know, with everybody we came in with the guys we met there, like it's still friendships there.
Right.
It's still love. It's still brotherhood.
Right. It's a brotherhood that can never be broken, no matter what anybody's saying. That's the cool part, man. Like, yeah. And it's cool to relive the past, and we experienced a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it ultimately just shaped us into who we are today. And it's cool that we can still tell those stories. And like you said earlier, look out for the next generation. Like, speak out, looking out for the next generation, so we make sure that they don't go through what we went through.
Yep.
Yeah, facts.
Definitely.
So, man, talk about the day that you decided that you was done playing football. Like the day you said, "All right, I'm about to coach. I'm done playing football." Was that like a bittersweet moment? Was it an easy transition? Was it a hard transition? You know what I'm saying? Was you mad, sad, any of those things?
You know what, man? I think so. For me, it was like I had just had a son. I was a free agent. I was working at KeyBank at the time. I had a tryout with the Browns. I had a workout with the Dolphins. Went to Canada. Did you go with me? Was that you or Otis? It was Otis.
Yeah, it may have been Otis. I didn't go.
We went. I had 2 workouts in Canada. I had some other Canadian workouts coming up. I had an arena offer for the Gladiators at the time. Shout out to my man Ryan Selesky. But like I said, my position coach at Toledo, at the University of Toledo, Paul Nicholson gave me a call. I said, "Hey man, what you doing?" I'm about to get a head coaching job. I want you to join my staff as an assistant coach.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I start thinking about my future. You know, when it comes to tenure and money and just things of that nature.
Yeah.
Possibilities of me becoming an NFL player. You know, what's the tenure? 2-3 years versus me becoming a coach.
Yeah.
30-40 years. So I took the job. I just took the job.
Yeah.
It filled my void and missing the game. You know what I mean? I never stepped away from the game. It was just like I was in a different role.
Yeah, different role. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
So that's cool, man. Cause I think I played arena football in 2013, and then I moved to Atlanta, and I moved to Atlanta really. I mean, obviously I was working, but a lot of the CFL teams we used to hold workouts in those bigger cities, Atlanta, LA. So I was like, okay, cool. So I set up maybe like had to be at least like 4 workouts with different CFL teams. Did the workout circuit with them. And then I thought I was gonna be done, but then what year was that? 2016. We was like 27, bro, and like I still had the itch. I'm like, man, I could still play, like, you know what I'm saying? And so I played again for the Barnstormers. Went back to Iowa, and then that football season, I actually reached out to Kirksey. And told him to what did I do, man? I told him to send me the Cleveland Browns linebackers email so I could send them my film. I mean, I was thirsty. I was like, man, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out using every little avenue I could use.
Yeah.
So he actually got me the email. The linebacker coach actually emailed me like, hey, Kirksey said you a hell of a player. Like, send me your film. So I sent him my film. He said he liked what he saw. Like, you know, I would be on their injury list. If anybody got hurt, they'd bring me in for a workout or maybe a camp spot. So I'm like, shit. And then that whole football season went by, 2016, and then that's when I was finally like, man, all right, like I'm done with this shit. But it's crazy that you went right into coaching so quick, and it took me years to finally say, all right, I'm done, because I just love the game of football. Like, and I could even at 27. I still wanted to play.
I definitely let it game. Yeah, I played today. I got a good 3 series in me.
Right, good 2. I got a good 2 series.
No, I got 3 series in me, bro. You know I'm a safety, man. I'm a deep third. I'm gonna just play the third, make sure nobody it just stays deep as the deep. No, man. Like I said, it was just I just thought about it, man. And like I said, that was the St. Ed's, you know, piece of me just understanding life.
Yeah.
And I always told myself, like, hey, man, I don't want to be one of those guys that's trying to make it to the league at 30 years old. Even though I was still young. But it was just like, free agents don't make money, man. I had to make sure I could provide for my family. So
yeah, that's facts. And like you said, you had, and like you said, you just had a son, so you had to kind of make a grown-up decision.
Yeah.
I understand.
And so, and you know, coaching in itself is a different ball game. So, especially when it comes to minority coaches, that's a whew. But yeah, man, it was just crazy. So that was that.
Yeah. So you a coach. So now you're a coach and a business owner, man. Talk about how you balance both. How you balance, obviously being a coach and a mentor and helping young lives, but then also being a business owner. How do you balance both nowadays?
Man, my motto is train like an athlete.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not playing, that's just what's instilled in me. So I train. I go hard, man. I go hard for my business. It's because it's the way the Morrow Group and Company, insurance brokerage. I'm licensed in multiple states to write auto, home, business insurance. I write life insurance as well. It's doing great. So that's my bread and butter. That's what I focus on. That's what I go hard with. And then I have a passion. I have a passion for our youth. So me being a coach, It's just me being able to share my experiences,
Mm-hmm.
both good and bad,
Mm-hmm.
with the gentlemen on my team,
Mm-hmm.
the student athletes I have on my team, and just to make sure that they have some type of guidance. Like I said, I think it's very important that the coaches, and this is my opinion, that it's important and it's more beneficial when a coach who has been through it
Exactly.
can talk about it. So
Exactly.
I'm one of those guys. I know what it takes to be a Division I athlete twice. Let me say that I know what it takes to, you know what I mean. I know what it is to work hard to be a Division I athlete. I know it. I know what the coaches are looking for when it comes to recruiting a Division I athlete. So from that standpoint, and then I try to instill, just help these young men. Not all need guidance, but it's always great to have, more than one mentor or somebody that you can call on in a time of need. So I just want to be. I take pride in being that guy for my student athletes.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's A1 right there. That's super dope, man. I feel like I get approached to coach in some way, in some form or aspect every year for like the last 5 to 8 years, to be honest. So it's definitely something that I'm pondering about. I mean, of course, just getting older, and like you say, we got so many like crazy experiences. I mean, good and bad experiences. At this point, all you want to do is share those experiences and share how to make sure certain things, whatever we went through or saw, how to make sure that doesn't happen to the next generation, or how to move.
Yeah.
To give you an example, for me, it's like I can, or I'm sure you can do the same. You can literally break down to a guy nowadays what questions to ask a coach when they recruit.
Yeah.
But we, because I know when I was being recruited, I didn't really know what questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? I signed my letter of intent. It was a black defensive line coach at Iowa, Ron Aiken. That's why I wanted to go there, because I'm like, he told me that they didn't have any tweeners, that I could play Leo and defensive end, because I could do both. I was a tweener. I was a tweener guy. He literally told me that he broke the defense down to me, said sometimes I could play with my hand down, sometimes I was playing Leo, cover the tight end, drop, whatever. I'm like, that's perfect. That's what I do. To only get there, and he ended up leaving, getting a job with the Arizona Cardinals, defensive line coach with the Cardinals. But then I got to get coached by Rick Kaczynski, who never played defensive line and was an asshole of a coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, me and him had a couple encounters.
Yeah. So now I can tell these younger guys, like, hey, when you being recruited, ask them coaches, do they plan on staying there while you there? Because a lot of times, they'll leave.
Most of them don't know, but my opinion, you know how I feel about the NCAA. But that's why it should be, if the coach that recruits you leaves, you should be able to leave.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You know what I mean? But the NCAA is a problem, and
it should be that way for sure.
Yeah, me and Coach K had a couple words. Our last conversation ended in me telling him to watch his fucking mouth. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't rock with him at all.
Like,
I don't rock with him at all.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Bro, to this day, I don't rock with him at all. I remember I seen him a couple years ago. He came to Mike Daniels, one of Mike Daniels' camp. He was out of New Jersey. I went out there to help him coach.
Yeah.
And he tried to like come up to me like with like some good energy, like I fucked with him, like trying to dap me up. And I was looking at him like, man, the deadest look, like, bro, I'm not, like, what, we ain't cool, bro. Like, I'm not dapping you up.
You didn't even build that rapport. You just
exactly
went on your get on.
Yeah, exactly. And I was telling Mike, like, he lucky, man, like, cause I had some malice. I still got some malice, like, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted to take it there for real, cause I feel like he ruined my life, to be honest. Well, he didn't ruin my life, but he ruined my football dream. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man, I have no malice towards anybody, man. It's just right is right and wrong is wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know that. So last question, man. Like I said, I call this podcast the After Effect Podcast. And we've experienced wins, losses, pain, rage, sorrow, injuries all
Yeah,
through our life. We've been athletes for 20 plus years. What would you
yeah.
say is your after effect of your entire athletic career? What is Diauntae Morrow's after effect? What lessons have you learned that you would take with you, that you would instill in your players, that you would instill in your children? Kind of list those out for me.
Biggest one is understand that you are always in control of you. You are
Mm-hmm.
always in control of your destiny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right.
Uh, and this is never leave it up to somebody else to make a decision for you.
Right.
Always do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Always be respectful, be responsible, but always, you can control what you can control,
Mm-hmm.
and you can all 90% of the time you can always control, you know, the way you react.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that even goes for me, even with the Doyle situation.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have reacted differently? For sure, I could have.
Mm-hmm.
If I go back, would I have reacted differently? Hell no.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
That
So
shit. That shit was warranted, man. You can't. You can't
it
talk
ain't.
to you can't talk to people like that. Like, period.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even about whether it was warranted or not. It was just like it's certain morals and values that I stand on. Respect is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I give it. I expect it in return. Once it's once you give off a different energy, believe I'm about all of that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Right.
But always do your research, man. Always you can always control your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You will at some point in time you will get knocked down. It's not about you being knocked down. It's how you react when you get up.
Yeah, you
When
can't
I
stay
left,
down.
my Iowa situation was a knockdown,
Mm-hmm.
and my Toledo situation was how I responded.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
up until now is how I responded. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
always, even when I was coaching, I was the young black coach, the
Yeah.
young minority coach. I wasn't just the coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And always do research, understand your peers, understand the people you're around, always be observant.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Always
but
observant.
but always, but understand that you are always in control of your reactions,
Mm-hmm. Facts.
and that doesn't always mean physical reactions,
Yeah.
mentally as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great after effect, bro. Always being in control, because especially as a black man, like, we always looked at under the microscope anyway. So we definitely got to control all our actions, but still unapologetically be us, like.
Oh, I'm never gonna apologize for being me, man. That's always,
Yeah.
it's all love, because I come because my intent is not there's no malice behind my intent. It's all love. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I let it have fun. It's all love and laughter for me, man. So
Right.
you
You know
know,
that.
and understand that it's okay to be you.
Right. Always.
There's nothing wrong with evolving,
Right.
but it's okay to be you.
Right. Word of evolution, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate you joining, man. This was a great talk, man. And I've been trying to pride myself. Just 2020 has been a weird year, bro. Just in general,
Yep.
so many people passed and stuff like that. So I've been trying to pride myself on making sure I give flowers, while we still here. And like we've been talking about our whole conversation, we've been competing since we was real young, man. But I just want to tell you, face up, that I always respected your game. I always respected how you move, the integrity you move with. All the accolades, everything you accomplished, bro. Like I'm proud of you. Like, we both Cleveland guys. So I just want to give you that love, you know what I'm saying, face to face, man. And now we gotta get Bruce on the show, man. He don't do technology, man.
Oh yeah, we got to get him on the show, man. And hey, man, likewise. I'm gonna put this out there that I can dance better than you.
Hey, if you can dance better than me, you gotta show me. You got. Don't be shy. You gotta show me.
Hey, man.
I appreciate you joining, bro.
Hey man, it's all love, bro.
I want to get Will on here too, man. I know Arvell he in Houston, but I'm gonna try to get him on next weekend. But I appreciate you jumping on, and I'll tap in with you about that business insurance, about the online store.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, hey man, Vel, that's my favorite quarterback of all time. That's my personal favorite quarterback, man. He was Tom Brady. He was Tom Brady. I was Randy. Hey, he was Tom Brady. I was Randy Moss, man, back in the day.
Yeah, mine too. Well, yeah, bro, I appreciate you joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, bro. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right, you too, bro. Stay blessed. Be safe.
All right, man. Yes, sir. So yeah, this has been like the longest episode. But I really just wanted Diauntae Morrow to come on and tell his side of the story. When, transferring arguments, but he prevailed. 2-year starter at Toledo, dove right into coaching. He's been coaching for almost 10 years now. So glad that he was able to come on and just tell his opinion. Again, I appreciate you all tapping into episode 20. Cheers to 20 episodes. Cheers to the next 20 episodes. Hopefully they're better. I've been trying to just continue to grow the podcast. I finally got an audio mixer, so my voice should be a lot better on this episode. And so just continuing to learn and continuing to just authentically be a podcaster. So until next time, peace.